What's going on, guys? It's Cliffy here. Welcome into our second round of I think it's the Sydney Sevens or the Brisbane Sevens. I'm not 100% sure, but we are here today continuing on our good work, hopefully taking on Japan, who were the other unbeaten team from our pool in the first round game. So hopefully we can pick up a win here. Look at getting ourselves to the top of the table, because that is really what we want. We want to finish top of our group, and hopefully we can go and do that with a good win here today. So I'm going to join actually as the scrum half and just go for a little dart towards the line, because that is almost as easy a try as you can ask for. So we get one inside the first minute. We will definitely take that. Just jump in as the scrum half and boom, underneath the post. You shouldn't miss this, Declan. You almost have, but we've gone and got it. We're up to a 7-0 lead, and that is the perfect start. You couldn't really ask for too much more of a perfect start to get a try within the first minute. Against Japan, as I said, not the worst team in the world, and I'm still going. Gets the offload away too. We are just running riot here today. Okay, apart from there that we've gone back about 15 metres, but that's alright. We won't complain too much about that. So, nothing really. I thought that was a forward pass, to be honest. Nothing really to talk about too much in regards to this career mode. At the moment, I'm really just doing it game by game, rather than going and doing a few and then just heading to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and the final, or even less than that. We're just going doing game by game, because we do have a fair bit of rugby to talk about at the moment, starting off with the Investec Rugby Championship, which got underway on the weekend. Obviously, that's the Quad Nations, for those who don't know about it. It used to be the Tri-Nations between New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa. Argentina has since been included. And I think, since their inclusion, they have played pretty well and have, I guess, warranted their place in there. They had a very close game against South Africa, which I will get to later on in the piece. But, yeah, nothing really else to talk about. Obviously, Tuesday's videos are normally my where I discuss a Mitre 10 Cup and go through what's happening, everything in there. But we've obviously gone and done that already. We've completed our tackles. We're going to try and get in there at the breakdown, win the ball, and just get absolutely hammered. Absolutely hammered at the breakdown. But that's alright. Japan just seem to be at 6s and 7s at the moment. Funny enough, because we are playing 7s. But that was not a pun that I was going for. I do apologise for that. It's a terrible, terrible pun. Oh, God. Trying to get my kicking meters up as well. I'm trying to do my challenges just to increase my players, not his skills, I guess you would say. And that's a great run by whoever that was. But you got to get in there, Japan. You got to win that, boys. Come on, the cherry blossoms. There's actually, we were watching I can't remember what it was. We were watching a TV series on a game show, some kind of game show. I can't remember what it was. But one of the questions was a team that's known as the... Oh, God, that's a terrible kick. I should have gone for the drop goal. If only there was a drop goal, because that's another one of my tasks that I was looking for. But the question was a team that used to be known as the Cherry Blossoms. And the guy on the show surprisingly picked South Africa, which is just, absolutely stupid. It was multiple choice as well. And I think everyone in the rugby world knows that South Africa are the Springboks. So how he ended up with them is a completely weird story. I don't know. What a tackle from DJ Forbes to send him into touch. But it is Japan. Japan are the Cherry Blossoms. And I just thought I would go and add that in to our little discussion here today. Because with only 2 games to talk about really in the Rugby Championship, you do almost need to get through a half of gameplay just to get something going on. There we go. There's another kick. It's actually a great kick. This is going to end up in a try. What a bounce. What a kick assist. I don't know who that was running through. I think possibly Shu and Stowers. It was. And man, what a kick. Cliffy, you absolute beast. Shu and Stowers with the chase. And we are up 17-0, boys. Could be more, but Declan O'Donnell is still our kicker, even though he has had a terrible, terrible series to date so far. He has just not been able to get anything. So I will get on to those Rugby Championship results in the second half because we do only have about a minute left to go in this first half here. Japan will be looking to get on the board. I thought they were going to kick there, so that's why I've gone back almost into the sweeper position. But, you know, they're being fearless. They're running the ball. It's a great tackle, though. There's an absolutely mammoth hit. I'm not too sure who it was from, but great hit. Absolutely great hit. You know, you can't complain too much about that. How the hell did we win that? I'm trying to remember what the kick for touch button is. I was going to say we may not even win it from the breakdown, but we've sent someone in, and hopefully we can. What are you doing, Sherwin? I didn't say kick. I meant kick for touch, but that's alright. It's gone into the end goal, so it should be forced, or even go dead. So that's probably the most ideal option that we could have asked for. I was looking for a kick to the sideline, but a kick to the dead ball line will work just the same. So we're going into the second half up 17-0. Very deep. I was going to say a very deep kick, but a very good kick by the Japanese. And they're away. They're away laughing, trying to score this try. Again, Cliffy is just flailing around on the ground. That's the one thing I do not like about this game. When you miss a tackle, you flail around on the ground, and you are on the ground, honestly, forever. And they should, I was going to say, if they used their numbers right here, they should have had a try, but they've gone and fluffed it. And that's just the difference, I guess, in quality between, you know, a side like Japan and a team like the New Zealand Sevens, is that, you know, those little chances are taken. They are definitely taken. They're used very well, and as I said, it is the difference. Get there. DJ Forbes is probably going to win this race. He is probably, look at him. He's ahead. He gets a good bounce, and he's still going. Huh. DJ Forbes, you little beauty, what a play that is. We will definitely take that into the bag, but it may, I was going to say, it may possibly be a turnover, but we do have enough force in there just to go and get ourselves over. So, I was looking to try and put the bomb up, just to mix it up a little bit, you know, try and get a bit of change in gameplay, shall we say. Something just a little bit different. They just, honestly, Japan just need to use their numbers. They had an overlap out there before, and they just did not use it. Just did not use it whatsoever. So anyway, back to these results, because otherwise we are going to run out of time. And it is something that I don't do very well in my videos, is my time management skills, especially when it comes to talking about some topics. So we're going to start off with the first game of the weekend, which was played on Saturday night, 9:30 New Zealand time. I believe from memory it was in Sydney. Obviously, the Wallabies taking on the All Blacks. And now, this game here, there was a lot of talk from the Wallaby camp. There's a lot of controversy, which I guess is something you always get when you get New Zealand versus Australia in the rugby. Apparently, there was a listening device that was planted in the All Blacks meeting room in their hotel. The Wallabies denied involvement over it. The police got involved, and rah, rah, rah. It was just, you know, it's just one of those things. It's how impressive this rivalry is and how important this rivalry is to the players. But it didn't help the Australians, not by any stretch of the imagination. They were absolutely blown out of the water by the All Blacks, losing 42-8. And as I said, there was a lot of talk going around from this. I think we've possibly won that one against the head. We have. There's a lot of talk going around from this Australian side that they were going to be very impressive. They're going to muscle up big time, and you know that they were going to take the fight to the All Blacks, and that just never really happened. The All Blacks were all over them from the get-go. I think a second half was a lot better. Australia did come back. I think it was 10. I think it was 10-5 to the All Blacks in the second half, 32-3 in the first half, I believe. So Australia came back in the second half. Maybe New Zealand not quite as ruthless in the. Oh my God, Declan, how do you miss that? New Zealand maybe not quite as ruthless in the second half, but still a very comprehensive victory, close to New Zealand's biggest victory against Australia. They did have that at one stage, but the Australians did get a late try thanks to replacement halfback Nick Phipps, who I think actually ended up playing on the wing. The big major concern from this game for both teams, not just the Australian team, is the injuries. There were a lot of injuries for both teams. I think Australia had basically emptied their backs bench very early on in the first half. I think, first of all, they lost Matt Giteau. I didn't quite see that because I was out playing some bowling, actually. So lost Matt Giteau very early on. He was replaced by Matt Tamua, who went off, I believe, with a head knock, didn't pass a concussion test, and never came back. And then Rob Horne came on for him, I believe, and he did something to his arm, so he's out of this week as well. The All Blacks are in, similar kind of situation. Both hookers, both replacement hookers are out, so 2 new caps have been called up. So I'm guessing Dane Coles is going to start again. Cody Taylor was off very early on in the piece. Ryan Crotty has been sidelined, and Wasaki Naholo has been sidelined when he scored his try. Did something to his hemi. So Rika Ioane, who's actually in the New Zealand 7 side, who went to the Olympics, a very exciting talent for the Auckland Blues. He has been called up. Damian McKenzie from the Chiefs had been called up, and there was someone else. Someone from the Chiefs, one of the midfielders from the Chiefs, I think, is in there replacing Ryan Crotty. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because we did see Ryan Crotty come off early in the piece. I think it was just after half-time in the game, and there was a lot of question because on the bench, New Zealand don't really have like an out-and-out midfield back reserve, and Ben Smith was going to cover in the centres if need be. But we did see almost, it was very strange what they did. Obviously, Aaron Cruden came on, and he almost played, I guess you would say he played in 12, and himself and Barrett and Smith almost interchanged very freely throughout the game. So it'll be interesting to see what does happen next week if Ben Smith potentially is... Ben Smith potentially could move into the centres, I think, but he is so good on the wing, and obviously Israel Dagg had a very good game at fullback as well. So I'm guessing they're going to keep that. Possibly we may see Damian McKenzie play at 12, or we may see, as I said, Ben Smith. I think Ben Smith to 12, and probably Damian McKenzie to fullback, because that's where he's played most of the season for the Chiefs. I don't know how I didn't knock that on, to be honest. I thought I had knocked that on. But it'll be very interesting to see come Saturday night, 7:30 in Wellington, what the All Blacks do go with, because a few injuries, and I guess probably the midfield is a little bit of a weak area for us, I would have to say. Especially when you consider if Crotty goes down and Fikatoa goes down, or even one of those two goes down, we're almost out of midfield options. So that's a little bit of a concern. The next game I'm going to talk about is the South Africa-Argentina game, just before we go and wrap things up. I've gone and stepped into touch there, which will give us a little bit of extra time to talk things through. But again, a very close game, 30-23. I believe it was a late try, 79th minute try from the Springboks that actually saw them get in and pick up that victory. So it will be interesting to see what happens with Argentina and how they go in this Rugby Championship. I think they have... I mean, it is hard because they're playing against probably the three biggest powerhouses, I guess you would say, in world rugby. You could almost class England in there now with Eddie Jones as their coach as a top 4. But, Argentina are still a very good side. New Zealand, South Africa, and Australia are a cut above. Australia may be a little bit in question after their performance on Saturday night, but still a very good side when they do manage to go and show up. So it'll be interesting to see how this Rugby Championship does go and pan out. We've got the reverse fixtures, the home and the away ones of them this weekend. As I said, New Zealand are taking on Australia in New Zealand, and there must be a game in Buenos Aires with Argentina hosting South Africa in that game there. But anyway, guys, we're going to wrap things up here. Japan get on the board late, get that conversion to make it 41-7. Bit of an absolute hiding there, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to beat Japan. They had a win in their first round game. So hopefully we can go through pool play unbeaten, and we will just continue to build and move on from there. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to leave a like. If you are new, please do subscribe. Make sure you check out my Facebook and Twitter. Links to that can be found down below in the description. Hope you're having a good week so far. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We've got more Don Bradman, My Career Reborn, coming your guys' way. Make sure you do not miss that.